Welcome back to the Conch cast episode
3.
Well, you weren't supposed to fill in there.
Right, well, you had a big pause, so I didn't know.
Well, that was, meant to be, meant to happen.
Well, what a brilliant start. Anyway, in today's episode, we're not doing like a standard discussion video.
We're actually got a special episode today.
We have.
Lucky you.
So today, this is Alex's idea. He introduced me to this. It's called the Disc Island Challenge. Why don't you explain it?
Well, Desert Island Discs is like basically where you can pick like 8 songs that you would take to a desert island.
And those were the only ones that you could have with you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, they're like the only songs that you can have.
Yeah.
So you'll just basically have like a record player and like
Yeah.
8 songs, and you can just listen to these 8.
Yeah.
So make sure they're good.
Yeah.
I'm sure they will be good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right.
That's the one. Are we ready?
Yes. Okay.
How much do you gonna go for my first pick?
Okay. You take the map. Sure. Show me your first pick. So tell the audience first.
So my first pick is "Give Me Shelter" by the Rolling Stones. So yeah, that was "Give Me Shelter" by the Rolling Stones, released in 1969 on Let It Bleed. It was like the first apocalyptic song, so it's like the first song where it was almost about like things that they were thinking at the time, like in the 1960s, we had like the Vietnam War and stuff. This was basically the Rolling Stones' comment on that.
Okay.
It's just a great song. It's a classic. It's a classic Rolling Stones song.
Actually, listening to that, I thought it was good.
It is.
Which is surprising for like your music.
Why? I don't think I like all
not my taste. I bet all your friends are gonna hate me now, since I don't.
No, because
I don't know
most of my friends don't like these songs.
Oh, okay.
They only like the ones that you'll know. There are some that we won't need to play, to be fair, because you'll know them.
Okay, fair dues.
So yeah. I think I like. I think that I like the solo. I think the song's really like minimalistic.
Yeah.
Because that's what they're going for. They're going for like the world's been destroyed, and then this is the song that's playing while the world's desolate, which is why it's almost quite bare in the way. And then Mary Shelley, who was invited to do the vocal in the middle, she just smashes it. Like when I saw the Rolling Stones in June, they had a lady who did it then, and she smashed it as well. But it's really, it's actually almost scary to hear live, like the song is, because it is so creepy. It's really good. When they just came in with it, and there was just like newspapers and war zones in the background, so it was really good. It was like atmospheric. So yeah,
nice.
I would take "Give Me Shelter" by the Rolling Stones.
Right.
George's pick.
My first song, probably not a surprise to you. It's Belinda Carlisle, "Heaven Is a Place."
Okay, you don't need to play that one.
No.
Because I already I do know this one.
This one is somewhat nostalgic for me because on back in the day of the PlayStation 2.
Back in the day.
We had the SingStar.
Yeah.
You know, that game where you plugged in the microphone and there's like stuff.
Yeah.
And we had quite a few of the SingStar games of like SingStar Legends, SingStar like Disney, ABBA. But my favourite was always SingStar 80s. And this was my favourite song in it.
Oh, Heaven Is a Place.
Yeah.
Belinda Carlisle's playing in Manchester, you know?
Yeah.
In a few weeks, yeah.
But yeah, released in 87, I think.
Was it 87?
I think it was 87.
No, it's
she didn't write it herself. It was...
She got given it.
Yeah, she got given it. And she was unsure about it at the beginning. But I mean, it's become her most iconic song.
Well, it has, of course.
Yeah.
It's got like 18 million views on it.
Yeah.
But it is like, it's an iconic 80s song.
It is.
Isn't it?
And it's so uplifting, and it just sounds great, and yeah.
From a production standpoint, it is actually very good. For the 80s, like everything was overblown, like in the 80s anyway. But it does sound. It's a good like pop song. It's
Yeah.
like that perfect pop song.
And I think a lot of songs are very depressing nowadays. You know, we're talking about all breakups and stuff like that. And
Most
I think
of my songs were quite depressing.
and it's just nice to hear something happy
It's not
and
depressing.
like it's about hope and making your life, not wishing for something to magically happen, making your life heaven. You know?
Oh, I do like the message. I get that though, because actually, to be fair, I was just thinking when you said that, quite a lot of songs that come out now are really depressing. Or
And I
not
think life's sad enough anyway. Just like listen to some happy songs.
Oh, that's actually a good
Anyway,
that's a good motto. It's a good message. to
yes.
have. I would agree with that one.
Yeah.
So my next pick is, of course, it had to come at some point. Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles.
Here comes the sun, I say it's alright.
Okay. I
But you
know
don't
that
need
one.
he knows this one, so we don't need
Yeah.
to play him this one.
Yeah.
This is like, I like Here Comes the Sun because for the same reason. It's actually really, it's uplifting.
Yeah.
It basically, I like how it's got that positive message, and I've always liked the message that like whatever's happening right now, you've just got to hang on because eventually it's going to be all right. Well, that's what happens, 9 times out of 10 times that anything bad happens in your life.
Yeah.
You can always count on the fact that it will always get better.
Yeah.
So, and obviously, like I write songs and stuff, and I've tried to write sort of positive songs, but I don't think anything will come to that. Anything that I could ever write will be as perfectly placed lyrically as that one. Like George, not many people know this, but George Harrison wrote that.
Yeah.
It was nothing to do with John or Paul. Because obviously when people think the Beatles, they think John and Paul wrote all the songs.
Yeah.
Well, George actually, the later stages, did write a lot of the Beatles songs. And that was actually written by George Harrison in Eric Clapton's back garden. Yeah.
Well, the sun was shining.
Yeah, he was sat in the garden and the sun was shining and he thought,
Oh,
just write a song.
it's wholesome.
It's wholesome, yeah.
It's wholesome.
It's allegedly about, at the time, the Beatles were recording Abbey Road and literally hated each other with like a passion. Because this was 1969, so this was 50 years ago this year.
Wow.
They basically hated each other because they were going to break up. They broke up early 1970, so they'd be broken up like a year from now. But George, they got near the end of the album, and George was like, it was supposed to be about the Let It Be sessions which happened before, and when they got to the end, George was just like, oh, thank God, like here comes the sun, we finally got to the end. But that's what it's allegedly about. So I just think it's that perfect positive song. You've got to have a positive song. Because if all your songs are depressing, then
On this island.
on the island, if all your songs are depressing,
Yeah.
then on the island you're going to be stuck.
Right.
It was actually also one of the first uses of a Moog synthesizer in popular music.
Could you tell us what that is?
Well, obviously a synth is like very simplified. Fundamentally, a synth is like a keyboard that makes noises that aren't piano noises.
Natural.
Yeah, Matt. Oh no, Matt will be getting so triggered because he loves synths, and I won't be explain. I do like them, but like I won't be explaining this well enough for him. Basically, yeah, and then there's like different types. So there's like modular synths and there's keyboard synths, whereas the Moogs are modular, I believe, with a keyboard. Yeah.
Right,
Modular's the one with all the, you see a synth and it's got the wires coming off it.
Yeah.
That's a modular synth.
Oh, okay.
Because the wires are in the patch bay. Yeah, there you go. What's your next?
My next choice is Kate Bush.
Kate Bush.
Running Up That Hill.
Running Up That Hill. I do like Kate Bush's version.
Oh yeah, you like Placebo.
But I like
don't you?
Placebo's version more because it's probably because it's It's a lot more.
'Cause it's more depressing.
It's more depressing, yeah.
What I like in my life. I don't think Kate Bush's original version is necessarily happy. I think it's sung with like anger.
It's like
passion.
melancholy.
Yeah, I think it's more anger and passion as her emotions.
I don't
while
think
she sings it.
we actually said what it is either.
Yeah, running up that hill.
Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush.
We said that.
Did we?
Yes.
I thought I just instantly said, "Oh no, I like Placebo's version better."
Yeah.
I do like Kate Bush's version though. It's not like where I
Yeah.
don't like it. Like I despise Susie and the Banshees version of Dear Prudence, but I love the Beatles version. You know.
Yeah.
But actually, I like both versions, and it's actually a really good song.
It is, yeah, and it's about being selfless. You know, saying, "Oh, if I could, I'd take your place."
Yeah,
And,
well,
you know, if I could make a deal with God,
I
I'd
think,
swap our places. And
that's my favourite lyric ever. If I only could make a deal with God,
Yeah.
and get him to swap our places.
yeah,
That's like my favourite lyric ever.
and I just think Kate Bush's style, it's so different and so unique to her. I don't think I could get tired of it on a desert island.
I don't think you can, like, her voice can't be replicated by anyone.
No.
Like, anyone can sing, like,
Wonderwall.
yeah, like Liam Gallagher, anyone can sing like that. But, like, I think some people just do have really special voices. I think Kate Bush has a really special
Yeah. And yeah, made it really stand out.
I think it did.
Yeah.
In a time when pop was just, like, booming. So obviously, like, 70s and 80s was, like, the massive boom of pop. But she was in all that and still managed to stay artistically integral and relevant.
I'm pretty sure she wrote a lot of her songs when she was 16. And then I think Wuthering Heights was 77.
Well, we're seeing that now. Like, have you heard of Billie Eilish?
No, I haven't.
Like, she's when she got popular, she was 15,
Yeah.
but she's like 16 now, and she's got like #1 singles and stuff. She's like 16. It's like, imagine being literally like in interviews. She says like she can't go anywhere because everywhere she goes, people will just recognise her. Imagine that must be horrible at like 16. I can't imagine being 16 and not being able to do anything I want to do.
It's like what I said in the last one. It's the price of success.
Yeah, but at 16, that's
Yeah,
terrible.
I know.
You don't want that.
Yeah.
But if you want to make me famous, please do.
Make it so Alex can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
All right.
It's my turn. You won't know this song.
Ah.
I'm gonna have to play this one. This song is "Good Morning" by Kanye West.
Ah, the greatest rock star in the world.
So, it's still recording. Fantastic. Okay, it's amazing when we're surprised.
Yeah.
It's still recording.
It's sad that we're so happy when the small things go right.
Yeah, I know.
It shows how much just goes wrong.
So yeah, that was "Good Morning" by Kanye West.
I actually really liked that.
I thought you wouldn't like that.
No, I did. Yeah,
It's good, isn't it?
it is.
I don't know whether it's like his best song, but that's the one that I go to. That's the one that if I'm going to listen to Kanye, which I do quite frequently, I usually put that one on first because that's like, it's really underrated. Like it was never majorly successful. There were a lot more songs on this record that were more successful than Good Morning, like Stronger and The Good Life. They were both massive songs, but like this was just, I think it might have been a single. I don't know whether it was a single or not.
Yeah.
But I like the message in it. How like there aren't actually many songs about people about universities, are there? I don't actually know a single song of them.
I can't think of one off the top of my head.
But Kanye basically it's college in America, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's university here. It's the same thing. Well, Kanye dropped out of college, and he ended up. He's actually got his degree after he went back to college a few years ago and got his degree, but he dropped out around a few years before this record to do his record And the first 3 Kanye records were The College Dropout, Late Registration, and this was Graduation.
Right.
And they were mostly centered on like black people's problems in America and Kanye's own personal gripe with colleges and the college system, how you have to pay for an education. I think that's what gets it. And how people, like, he's never been one to listen to what people say. So I think it's probably the school system in general, but he's so anti, like he's so I need to do my own thing that which is why he comes out and says stupid things like I'm the greatest rock star in the world and just acts like an idiot because he just doesn't believe in doing anything but what he wants to do, which I think is admirable.
That's something to respect it though. Yeah.
That's why Kanye's music is always at the forefront of everyone else's music, because he doesn't go, oh, I heard that and copy that. He goes like, well, he does in some senses with the sampling, but his sound will always be the thing that is the next sound, or apart from maybe on Yeezus when he came in a little bit late into the whole trap infused beats and stuff like that. But I like how he's always trying to push things. Like, that's an Elton John sample. Like, nobody was using that in rap music before. Like, everyone was using samples of stuff like soul. But Kanye had already done that on the last 2 records, so he's like, now I'm going to try and sample some other things that are a bit different. And then obviously, I'm pretty sure it's Jay-Z at the end, who comes in at the end, with the trading off lyrics. But it's just a great song, really. I love the message.
Yeah.
I think Kanye's lyrics on it are great. I think his flow's great, and I just think the structure of the whole song is just really well written.
Alright, my next one is probably a bit of a weird choice, and I don't think you'll know it.
Okay.
It's from a film. It's from a Disney film.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, that's yours.
So that's mine.
And it might be, I don't think it's cheating, because on the official album, it puts the 2 songs together.
Oh, like on American Idiot, like by Green
Sort
Day.
of, yeah.
It's
in one, and I think it's important for them to be together. It's from Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And it's Heaven's Light and Hell's Fire.
I knew I'd never know that warm and loving glow, though I might wish with all my might. Like fire, hellfire.
So I think
Feel emotionally drained.
so in both those, so in Heaven's Light and Hellfire, both Quasimodo and Frollo are talking about the same person.
Yeah.
But I think what's different to note is that when Quasimodo talks about it, it's in a sort of more loving, gentle, like innocent way. But when Frollo, he's saying that he wants to rape her, and like it's conflicting, and like, yeah, I think it's.
Well, it looks like what he's saying is, I haven't seen Hunchback of Notre Dame since I was like 4 maybe.
Yeah.
But isn't it like isn't he saying if she doesn't go with him, then he'll just kill her?
Yeah, he'll burn her. And yeah, he nearly ends up doing that. And I think it's just, it's a great sound. I think it's a very underrated Disney film. I think it's not spoken about a lot.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not spoken about
there was,
as much as like other Disney
films. There was quite a bit of controversy when it first came out.
I was going to say, how did this not cause controversy? Because all the priests and all that was like, we're not like that.
This is PG. And Frozen is 13.
It's not PG. It's U.
Oh, it said U?
Yeah, it says there it's rated U.
Okay.
It's not even PG.
And when Disney put out Frozen as something higher than that, and this is someone singing about his like desire to take control of a woman and rape her, I think it's a very bold move by Disney.
Yeah, but like it's like Toy Story though, isn't it? Like people won't get kids won't get the reference, but the adults will.
Yeah, and I just think it's a brilliant song.
I did actually like it, to be fair. I did like it. I liked how dramatic, like you literally get engrossed in it.
Yeah.
I love how he says how is it like he says like how is it my fault in God's plan he made the devil stronger than the man.
Yeah.
Like that's very good.
It's very really well written. And
it is. I think most Disney songs are well written. Though.
Yeah.
Even if they're not written commercially, like say "Let It Go" was written commercially. But, like this is never going to be like number one in the UK. But the actual
Hunchback of Notre Dame, the way it was advertised is like it's like a slapstick funny Disney film, but it's actually very much not that.
Yeah, I don't remember it being like major funny.
Yeah. But no, I love the film and I love the song.
Well, I did like those actually. Yeah. Anyway, so what's my next choice is. We talked about them last week. It's called. My next choice is "Somebody Else" by the 1975. So I heard you found. So basically, I love this song because that's such an underrated thing for someone to talk about. I love how the 1975 will take a relationship, and you can, in a relationship you have like, I love you, and like you love me, or like we've broken up. The 1975 will take that and look at it in like a completely different way. So this is about two people who've broken up, and one of the people in the relationship is looking at it and saying like, I don't want to be with you, but I don't want you to be with anyone else either. And I can definitely relate to that. I think most people can relate to that feeling of like, I don't think this is working out between me and you, but it would kill me if you went out with anyone else. I think that is such like I love how they'll pick something out that's like that. That's like not your generic overview of a relationship. Yeah. It's just like they'll make sure that it's like an introspective look into maybe what one person's feeling, what the other person's feeling. I just think it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. And I love how they went all sort of 80s on this record. Yeah. And I remember like the first time I ever heard the synths come in with the chords. And I remember it was just like the sound that they got for those synths it's just so it's sparkly. It's really, I love how it's like filtered out. So when it comes in, it's do, and then do. Yeah, that was a bit cringy. But I really love that introspective look on it. And there's a bit at the end, there's a great guitar solo at the end that I didn't realise was a guitar solo until they played it live. I thought it was played on a keyboard, but it was actually played on a guitar. A lot of the solos on the record sound like keyboards, but they've just made guitars sound like keyboards. Right. Which is really cool. So actually I like Love Me, or The Sound. The Sound sounds more like a guitar, but Love Me, that's like all the guitar. And I didn't even realise. And I know a lot about guitars. Yeah. So I love how they just push it forward in that way. They're just amazing. They're just amazing. Yeah, what's your next point? Gorgie.
I can't remember. Oh yeah. So it's from my... I don't know if it's my favourite. I've got joint favourite musicals. This is Wishing You Were Somehow Here Again. Andrew Lloyd Webber, Phantom of the Opera. Try to forgive, teach me to live.
I actually have questions about it.
Yeah, go on.
So, like, where is this? Like, who is she wishing?
Okay, so she's talking about her dad right now.
Yeah.
And she's visiting his grave.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Yeah. Because this is at a point where she's feeling this character, Christina. Mm-hmm. She's really feeling very confused and conflicted. By this point, she's met the Phantom, but she's also pledged her love to someone else. And she's very worried about the future. And yeah, I think it's beautifully written. It sounds amazing. It's powerful and...
like whoever did the vocals on that song was like really good singing.
Yeah.
Is this was that like the movie version?
This is the movie version, from 2004. Not everyone likes the movie version that much. I don't think it's perfect, but I still think it's pretty good.
I like that song. So I like that.
Yeah,
I like how it builds.
Yeah, it's starts out she's very and like the cold setting and stuff, very closed off and small and weak. But by the end, she sort of knows what she wants to do with her life. And it's not really it's like not the most popular or like iconic Phantom song, but it is my favourite.
Yeah, well, I can see why. It's very good. My next pick is God Only Knows by the Beach Boys. God only knows what I'd be without you. Now the Beach Boys are like my like third favourite band.
Yeah.
No, they're my fourth favourite band ever. The Beach Boys, Brian Wilson, who was like the leader and he wrote all the songs and stuff, he was just a genius. He was just like, he knew so much about harmonies, orchestration, how to make something sound the exact way that he wanted it to sound. It was like, he was just a genius. And I love the message of that. Like, it really does. In my opinion, that is the quintessential perfect love song. God only knows what I'd be without you.
Yeah.
It's just, again, like coming back to the point we had before, it's just a nice song. Like, it doesn't need to be depressing or overly thoughtful. Like, the lyrics aren't like overly thoughtful. They're not like they're not like a 1975 song where the lyrics have like 10 layers and everybody is like looking for the layers and stuff. It's just it is what it is and it sounds like what it is, and the lyrics explain what it is really well. It's just a fit for purpose love song, and I think it's probably the best love song ever.
Bold words.
It's down to its core. It is perfect. It's not actually my favourite song ever. My favourite song ever is on this list.
Oh, is that yet to come?
That's yet to come, yes. So yeah, God Only Knows by the Beach Boys.
Alright. My next song is from a musical we're both quite aware of. It's from Blood Brothers by Willie Russell. And it's another sort of double song. But it's in the official albums, 2 songs together. So
yes,
I'm counting it as that.
Just play a little bit of it and it'll rhyme.
So, it is light romance / Madman.
Loving on the never constant as the changing weather.
There's a man got mad in the town tonight. He's gonna shoot somebody down.
Yeah. So that's a musical that we've both performed in. We did it in GCSE drama, didn't we?
We did, yeah, of course.
We were both the narrator, weren't we?
Yes, I narrated the start, I think. And then
I narrated the end. So this song, it's like the second to last song in the play, musical even. And it shows as Linda and Mickey grow further apart as a married couple. Linda and
Mickey
and Eddie get closer. Do you think that they're actually cheating or not?
That's snaky. You just don't do that, do you?
No. But
to your own brother, what a snake.
They didn't know they were brothers. But do you actually think that they were cheating?
No, but they were mates.
Do you think that Linda and Edward were just friends, or do you think they were actually cheating in the play?
Well, didn't they end up together?
No, because they both died, don't they?
No, but doesn't it say? I'm sure it says, just to like romance. I think they must have been.
Do you think they were like full on cheating though?
They might have just like kissed in a park or something.
Yeah.
But it wasn't
because
like it was like completely like in like she was with it as well. Like he didn't like go for the kiss and she was like nah, bro.
I think something like that. I feel like Eddie is a better person than that. But
well, maybe he's not. Maybe you'd like misjudge the character.
Maybe. Anyway, I think it's again really nicely sung. It's a motif from earlier in the musical.
Yeah, no, because that appears.
Yeah, it's on Easy Terms.
Yes.
That's another. And yeah, I think it's sung by Mrs. Johnston, and to me this implies that she's aware of the situation.
Yeah.
She knows that her son is getting cheated on, and she knows that Eddie is her son as well, and I think you can tell in her voice just how sad she is about how her life for her kids has turned out.
Yeah, I think.
And
she just messed it up, didn't she?
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. And then it just goes full like throttle when the narrator jumps in.
Well, I love like the dissonant chords in the Madman section.
Yeah.
When they got like the trumpets that are just playing like.
It's like showing madness and stuff like that.
Of course.
But yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. I approve.
Nice.
This Desert Island pick.
Your turn?
My turn. I think you know my next song as well. This is... Oh, you know this one as well. Let me just get it there. This is Help by the Beatles.
Help! I need somebody help, not just anybody.
They had to come back again. So I've actually... It's interesting because I've got a start Beatles pick. I've got like a Beatles... this isn't really teeny bop Beatles, but like... sort of teeny bop Beatles, and I've got more introspective Beatles.
Okay.
And with Here Comes the Sun.
Yeah.
But Help is better, was John Lennon's, in a narration, he says like that was what he was feeling, so he wrote the song at a time when he really, really needed help. He needed somebody to come and say, like, it'll be alright, just be alright with it, because it'll be fine.
Yeah.
And really, Yoko ended up being that person in the end, but at this time he hadn't met Yoko, and he didn't know how anything was going to turn out. In 1965, John Lennon was a wreck. Like he'd been John Lennon, the Beatle, for 2 years. That sort of popularity is just ridiculous. The amount of people that were after them, and the amount of money they were making, and how much pressure was on them to perform, that could get to anyone. And it was getting to John Lennon. You could see it. Around that time, he looks absolutely wrecked. And Help is that desperate. It's almost like a nice song. Like the melody's really. It's a beautiful melody. It's really catchy. Actually, if you listen to the lyrics, he's actually really sort of saying, I need someone to come help me now.
It's almost like juxtaposed then.
Yeah, because it's actually kind of a nice song, so it impresses the teeny bops fans who they needed to appeal to still at that point.
Yeah.
They didn't feel the need to appeal to them a year later, but at that point they still felt the need to appeal to them. So it will still appeal to them, but John was being a lot more honest. And John Lennon's best songs, I've always said, are the ones when he talks about himself. Like Bungalow Bill and stuff are great songs, but they're story songs.
Yeah.
But John is best at talking about John.
Yeah.
Because that's all he knows, and that's what he says in interviews. So songs that are really about him, like Norwegian Wood, like Help, Don't Let Me Down, they're John's best songs, because he can't do any better than talk about himself. And I think he perfectly explains that time for them with Help. And obviously they led off for a film with it. Yeah. So yeah.
Alright. Okay, my next one, it's Kate Bush again.
Kate Bush.
And it is Babushka.
She wanted to test her husband. She knew exactly.
I love how we're rushing through this. The production's fantastic on these videos, you know. Yeah. I know Babushka.
Yeah, Babushka.
Obviously. Big fan.
Yeah. I think it sounds absolutely insane. The music video even more so. But more than anything, it tells a story. So if you listen to the lyrics, it's telling the story of how a woman is very paranoid about her husband cheating on her. You know, so that she wanted to test her husband. And so to test him, see if he was cheating, she created this fake persona, Babushka, and like sent him like fake letters and things like that to try and like woo him. And he never fell for it because he never was cheating. She was just paranoid.
Again, I think that's something that people could relate to. A lot of these songs are kind of relatable songs. Yeah.
I've also just noticed that out of all the songs, because my next two don't have lyrics, they're all sung by females.
Well,
apart from like Madman.
George, the front runner of female fronted bands. I don't think any of mine are sung by female. I do like some female artists, by the way.
Yeah.
I should put that out there. Actually, Mary Shelley is on Gimme Shelter, so, you know, it's
Alright.
fine. There's my female.
Yeah.
But yeah, this reminds me of D&D now, Babushka.
Yes.
Because we used to walk around the fields singing Babushka.
Something to keep our spirits up.
When we
We
were
weren't
singing-
always very happy on
no,
Jiggy Fetty
we weren't.
Brad.
When we were singing like Elton John and
Bohemian Rhapsody as well.
Bohemian Rhapsody, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I love Kate Bush. I think this is probably her most
Iconic.
unique sounding song. Maybe not her most iconic. I think that's Wuthering Heights.
Oh, do you think? Oh,
I
maybe
think
it
that's the
is,
most
yeah.
iconic. But
But everyone knows that.
Yeah.
Babushka,
Yeah.
Babushka,
Yeah.
Babushka, yeah.
anyway,
That is Babushka. I think Babushka would be in probably like my top 15 songs ever.
really,
I love Babushka.
alright. I didn't realise you liked it that much.
I do listen to it quite often. So my next pick's actually The Unforgiven by Metallica. They actually did 3 of these.
3 what?
The songs, The Unforgivens. So they did Unforgiven 1,
Oh,
Unforgiven
right.
2 and The Unforgiven 3. And they all link lyrically.
Oh, cool.
It is very cool. My favourite's probably The Unforgiven 2,
Okay.
but I've not picked The Unforgiven 2 because, one, The Unforgiven is, this version is the most iconic one.
Mm.
And 2, I probably heard The Unforgiven 2 so many times when I was big into Metallica that I wouldn't be able to listen to it anymore. So I need a break from that one. But that lyrically, in my opinion, The Unforgiven 2 is definitely the best one. But this was weird for Metallica because they'd done Fade to Black, but they'd not really gone into this sort of acoustic-y vibe. That was them taking influence from that, and they also took influence from like flamenco guitar and their sort of mode. I think it's Dorian that they're using on this.
Yeah.
It's actually, if you break it down, it is just a really good song. Like if you take away all the instruments and literally just have an acoustic guitar and you play it,
Yeah.
it's a really good song, and that's what I like so much about it.
Yeah.
There's so much thought gone into it, and if you watch the documentary of them like recording the album, it took Kirk so many times to do the guitar solo. Like the guitar solo is perfect because he just did so many takes because he was like, "You've not done this right."
A perfectionist.
Yeah, he's like, "You've not done this right. You've not done this right. You need to keep doing it until you get."
Yeah, which I suppose is the right attitude since it's going to be immortalised forever. It's got to
Well,
sound
this is
perfect.
in the top. I'm sure the Black Album by Metallica is in the top 5 best-selling albums of all time.
Mm.
But it might be top 10. I think it's 8.
Yeah.
It might be number 8. But for a metal band, like metal's not mainstream. This made metal mainstream. This record.
Now you feel about the mainstream.
Well, most people. This is why most people hate this record, the Black Album. I personally think it's Metallica's greatest album.
Because it made metal mainstream. And
No,
then
because yeah, but the actual tunes on the record are a lot more songy than Metallica's. Metallica's old stuff before was just like, and there's a place for it, but it was very like thrashy. Like it was more like how fast can you go, or like how heavy can it be. Whereas this was like, actually no, we actually have some really good songs.
Yeah.
They're still heavy, they're still metal. We just need to make them sound good.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about the record.
Mm.
So yeah,
Right.
Metallica, the Black Album, but The Unforgiven specifically.
My next song pick was probably my hardest because I knew I wanted a song by John Williams.
Okay.
Probably the greatest film composer of
I
all
think
time.
yeah, I would agree with that.
And he's written so much good music.
He's
in his
written
time.
he's written like my favourite instrumental track,
Yeah.
the Spider-Man theme.
Oh right.
You know, the one from the first Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
They play
Was
that
that by John Williams?
Yeah, it
Was
was
that
John
scored by John Williams?
Williams. Oh no, it wasn't Danny Elfman, was it? Oh no, I think I've messed that up. I feel like it's Danny
I was
Elfman.
about to say I don't think it was John Williams, mate.
Was it not?
2002.
Oh, it's Danny Elfman. Oh, that's so embarrassing.
Mate,
I get them mixed up, but I know
it's
that's really
Danny
bad.
Elfman.
Oh, Danny Elfman looks like Elton John.
I was about to say, I thought that was Elton John.
He fully looks like Elton John.
Anyway,
it's
so my
Danny Elfman.
my pick is Across the Stars from Star Wars Episode 2. weirdly, worst Star Wars film, but it has my favourite Star Wars song in it. And not because of, like, the love story either, because that's rubbish too.
To be honest, I don't know anything about Star Wars.
Yeah. It's basically the theme of Anakin and Padme, but it's more just the way it sounds. It doesn't mean anything to me for the characters, because the characters aren't that well acted or good. But I just think it sounds... anyway, I'll show you.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I just think it's a beautiful piece of music, but just completely wasted in not a good film.
I think it's really powerful, isn't it?
I
love how it plays on... I could hear some of the motifs from all the Star Wars things I know.
Yeah, and that John Williams is great at that. But yeah, I'm sort of surprised in myself that it's not a John Williams song from the Harry Potter films, because I love his work in that as well.
To be fair, I don't like Harry Potter, but the music in Harry Potter is very good. It's too mainstream for me. Harry Potter's too mainstream.
Yeah. John Williams only actually composed for the first 3 Harry Potter films.
Did he?
Yeah.
Ran out of budget after that.
I think he was busy with Star Wars for one. But I mean, being the best composer in the world, he's on high demand. You know, everyone wants him for loads of jobs. So he just got too busy.
Loads of jobs. Does he still do like film stuff?
Yeah.
I wonder how he can hear all. I've always wondered how composers can hear all those instruments in their head. Do you know what I mean? Like that's a full thing, but he's had to have heard all of that and write it down. So he must hear all those instruments in his head.
Genius.
I know.
Genius.
I know.
He made his first big break with Jaws. From
Jaws is literally 2 notes.
Yeah.
And that's like one of the most famous most famous movie song ever is dum 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 dum.
Yeah.
2 notes.
That's when he made his big break in the 70s.
Yeah, of course.
And then when he did Star Wars, he was just like a household name in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Because that music is so iconic. And part of what makes the film so great. Voice crack. Anyway.
That needs to get distorted. Okay. So my last pick is actually, you know this one as well. This is my favourite song of all time. Ever. My favourite song of all time is Tiny Dancer by Elton John.
Hold me closer, tiny dancer.
Well, that piano riff for me is the best. I was trying to learn that the other day in lesson, and to be fair, I can't play piano that well, but it took me so long just to get the intro. I was literally there like an hour and a half getting the intro down. Elton's piano playing for me is perfect. For his songs, he complements them so perfectly. I can't explain why I love the song so much, but I have one memory from the song. It's actually the version of the song that he did with... It was either Chipmunk or Tiny Temper. Have you heard that one?
No.
Well, he did a version with them, and it was like sped up. And it was like a rap added to it and stuff. And I used to do it. It was called like the Let It Shine. For any of you old OGs, it was called the Let It Shine competition at Sir John Offley School. And we went with Betley School choir.
Oh, yeah, I do remember this.
We did some song.
Yes.
There was I think the people from John Offley did a dance to Tiny Dancer, Hold Me Closer, which is like the remixed version of it. And they did like the dance to it. I always loved it. I always thought I loved that version more, and then I heard this version of Tiny Dancer and thought, it's not as good. But the more I listened to it, the more I realised that is just a sick song, and I've grown to love it.
Yeah.
I think they're the best ones. Like sometimes if you love something straight away, like that passion can go. Like because you'll love it straight away, and then you'll love it less every time you hear it.
Yeah.
Whereas I think if you don't like something originally, you're always growing to love it. Like I don't think you'll ever stop loving it because you're always growing towards that. So that's Tiny Dancer by Elton John. I've always loved Elton John, like his music, but this Tiny Dancer, when I finally came back to it years after the whole break dance thing that I saw at Let It Shine, I just realised it's just perfect. It's actually, to be honest, underrated.
Yeah.
Because when people say like top 5 Elton John songs, they'll say like Rocket Man, or they'll say
It's my favourite.
they'll say
Crocodile Rock.
Crocodile Rock. They'll say songs that are like that.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone ever mentions Tiny Dancer. And Tiny Dancer for me is the best Elton John song, and is my favourite song ever. I think it will probably always be my favourite song ever, unless somebody comes out with a really great song.
Alright, so my final song, it's from another film.
More film songs.
Yes. It's from Lord of the Rings,
yes.
Fellowship of the Ring. It is Concerning Hobbits.
Concerning Hobbits is one of my favourites.
Yes.
To be fair, I do actually like film music, just select film music. I don't listen to it all the time, but occasionally I listen to it if I'm revising or something. Because if I'm revising,
distracting lyrics.
If I have lyrics, I always think about the lyrics, or try and also end up singing along or something. But if I listen to instrumental music when I'm revising, and like the Spider-Man theme, Danny Elfman, Elton John did.
Not John Williams.
Not Elton John either, even though he does look like Elton John.
But yeah, this song for
this
me,
one.
it's home. Because I grew up watching Lord of the Rings over and over again with like my dad and my brother and my sister. Fellowship is my favourite Lord of the Rings film as well.
Fellowship's the best Lord of the Rings.
I think so. I think it's got the best music in it.
Yeah, it does.
By far. And I think there's something, it's almost, it's not on, to me, it's not as grand as a scale as the other two. But in another way, I think it is grander of a scale. Because I think it shows more of a progression. You see, with this song, such like a cosy, lovely home, and they have to go off on this, quest where they might die. But I think whenever I watch the film and this music comes on, and it's like, the sun is shining and it's luscious and it's green, it's just yeah, it's home, and I
can
think
imagine it being home.
Yeah.
Like it's a very homely song, isn't it?
And I think if I was on a desert island, I'd want a bit of home there as well.
Yeah, I could get down with that.
Yeah,
It is a brilliant melody.
it is. And Howard Shore did wonderfully. I think he's on par with John Williams with the Lord of the Rings score, on its own. I think it's
The Lord of the
absolutely
Rings
brilliant.
score is fantastic.
Yeah,
It is.
my favourite film trilogy by far.
Your favourite? That's such a niche though. Because you'd be like, my favourite film that has 4 films.
No, but
My
like,
favourite film franchise that has 5 films.
yeah. I mean, it probably is my favourite film in general. Fellowship.
Fellowship.
Yeah.
What's my favourite film?
Woman in Black. I don't know.
No, it changes all the time because I don't really like films that much.
Mm.
I
Anyway,
always
that's probably a
just say
topic
Rocky.
for another day.
I always say Rocky.
Yeah.
I always just say Rocky every time. I don't even think it's my favourite film.
The
The Beatles, Help. That's my favourite film. Anything to do with them.
But yeah, since you have to be in work
Very soon.
very soon, should we leave it there?
We can leave
Right.
it there.
I reckon this has been probably my favourite so far. This
I've
podcast.
enjoyed this.
I've really enjoyed this.
I've enjoyed talking about the different reasons. And
Yes.
you showing me your songs, and I'm showing you my songs.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Mm.
this was a good one.
It was.
I
yeah.
enjoyed this. So
yeah.
thank you for listening. We
Um,
will see you next week with
see you next
more bangers, great content.
All right. See ya.
Bye.